Hey there, Wolfpack fans. It's me again, Kenton Gibbs, with my main man, Grayson Boone, and we're bringing you another episode of Locked On Wolfpack because I'm going to tell you something. Levi Watkins is telling everybody, relax, RELAX, and also put some RSR. Ooh, never mind. I tried to do the Aretha Franklin thing there, but I missed the E in respect. But put some RESPECT on him and this staff's name when it comes to hopping in the portal. They can pull players out of the portal a lot better than I can spell today. Grayson, you ready to get into the portal party?
I'm ready to get into the portal. I'm ready to spell some words too.
Let's try not to do any more spelling. All right. Let's try to stay away from the spelling. It's not a safe bet to trust me to spell respect. But what is a safe bet is if you're staying on FanDuel, folks. It is very clear that FanDuel is the place you need to be, and this episode is brought to you by them, of the official sports book of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. So we're going to be talking all things portal party. We're going to be talking all the players we've already gotten, as well as the players we got our eye on today on today's episode of Locked On Wolfpack.
You are Locked On NC State, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Boy, I'm glad Chris Berman isn't here because he'd say that the big boy is rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling all over his tongue there. But we have got to talk about this portal because we've got our first player out of the portal, Jayden Taylor. Mr. Jayden Taylor, formerly of Butler. He was their leading scorer last year, a 6'4" combo guard that can do a little bit of everything. He can do a little bit of assisting. He can definitely fill it up, but he's a little bit better of a defender than Joyner or Terquavian. What are your thoughts here about this first get?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's like super explosive, like all-American pickup here, but I think he's very solid. I think this is exactly the type of player that Keatts is looking for in the portal. He seems to be an upgrade at guard defensive-wise. Like you just mentioned, Jarkel and Terquavian, defense was not their strong suit, although they showed flashes in getting a lot of steals and being able to get out in transition. But Taylor is a bit more like a Casey Morsell, that on-ball type defender. So it's almost like we have two of those now. Mm-hmm. And Jayden Taylor, like you mentioned, he was Butler's leading scorer last year, so he can fill it up a little bit too. He's not quite as dynamic as Terquavian Smith is, but you really can't name a whole lot of guys that are. So that's a tall task to replace, but there's a lot to be excited about in Jayden Taylor. He showed a lot of projectable growth at his short time in Butler. He has 2 years of eligibility that we can keep him here in Raleigh for, so that's an upside too. He's not exactly just a 1-year rental type situation, but he's a good player. He averaged just a tick under 13 points per game last year, just a little bit under 4 rebounds, and he averaged about 1.3 assists per game. And he was doing all this on 40% shooting, which is pretty solid. The three-point shooting is an area he can improve. He only shot about 32% from deep last year, but he's also a good free throw shooter, as he was right around 77%. So he's got a great skill set for what we're trying to do here in Raleigh, and there's a lot to be excited about.
I want to talk about something that is very, very important here, okay? When I look at Jayden Taylor, and a lot of people are going to say, well, if he can't score at the same level as a Terquavian Smith or as a Jarkel Joyner, then what are we getting him for? And then it just doesn't make sense. And rada, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Let me let y'all in on a secret. I'm not kidding when I say Coach Keatts has a lot of shots to give away. He has a lot of shots to give away. And I know y'all are thinking, Kenton, what's the importance of that? I'm going to read you somebody's stat line from the year before they got to NC State. 13.2 points a game, 2.3 assists, 1.2 steals, 41% from the field, 34% from three. That is Jarkel Joyner. That's who Jarkel Joyner was before he joined the pack.
And that sounded almost identical to what Jayden Taylor did last year for Butler.
I'm sorry to tell y'all, this is very much so a thing where, and not only that, I'll tell you this much. This is this is Jayden Taylor's 3rd year playing college basketball. That was Jarkel's 5th. So expecting a player to become in year 5 what he wasn't in year 4 is a much bigger proposition than expecting a player to take a jump from year 2 to year 3 in a new system where they're going to have the ball in their hands a lot more. They're going to be the decision maker, as we saw from the article. If you haven't seen it yet, there was an amazing article put out about Coach Keatts' offense and how it's predicated on creating mismatches. Who do you think is going to be on the receiving end of those mismatches now? A guy who is a leading scorer elsewhere. It's going to be a guy who is a leading scorer elsewhere. So with that being said, I truly want people to understand this is not a small get. This is not a guy who you should be expecting, if he gives us 10, 11 points a game, we'll be fine. No. He needs to take it up a level and show what, again, you'll have the ball in your hands. You'll be the decision maker. You'll be the guy. You'll be the guy, or at least one of the guys with the ball in your hands a lot. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that works out. But again, I'm liking this get a lot.
Right. That was the projectable growth I was kind of hinting at. Is he's in a different system at Butler, so maybe what he got was all he could get. Here at NC State, Keatts will give you the reins if you prove you can handle it. And so there's a whole lot of room for improvement for Jaden to come in and immediately get here in Raleigh. So a lot to be excited about there. As I mentioned, he is a very good on-ball defender. I saw a couple good quotes. I believe he had an interview with Pack Pride recently, but he was saying that he guards the best guards every night when he was at Butler. And he knows that Casey Morsell was our guy for that here. And he said they haven't discussed it yet, but he just wanted the rest of Wolfpack Nation to know that they're going to be playing some defense. They're going to be playing some defense every night. And again, not to dig at the guys we just had here in Joyner and Smith, but they didn't play a whole lot of defense. And it sounds like that's an immediate improvement at the point guard position. So,
but you know what? Let's just, regardless of who played defense or who didn't, does that type of mentality not send chills up your spine a little bit? A guy who says, I want the other team's best guy. I want their number one. Who's their scorer on the perimeter?
And especially because Kevin Keatts teams they seem to be more offensively focused. Mm-hmm. And so to get a guy who's maybe defensive minded and he can score, yeah, that feels like an upgrade there. So very excited there. And I also want to point out that he has seen our program up close and personal because we played Butler this past year down in the Bahamas and he put 18 on us. So I know we ended up losing Manny Bates to Butler, but now we're getting Jayden Taylor back from Butler. So I guess you could say the trade is complete.
Turnabout is fair play. Turnabout is in fact fair play.
If you're a Major League Baseball fan, I guess you can consider that Jayden Taylor was our PTB NL player to be named later. So he's here now. It's later. We got him. This is a great first get for Keatts.
Absolutely. Somebody roll the George Bush clip. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got him. It's exciting to see. It's great things to see. And when we come back, we're going to tell you why folks need to calm down, need to relax, and need to know that you can bet on Keatts, you can bet on Watkins, you can bet on all these guys when it comes to hopping in the portal. And speaking of betting, I've got to tell you all about FanDuel. Grand slams, no-hitters, double plays, all of it is back. And there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets if you don't win. I don't know about y'all, but I haven't seen too many folks that are guaranteeing you'll win. Either you win your bet or you win some free bets and you win some money in free bets. All I'm saying is you can't go wrong where you can't lose. So don't miss your chance on a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. Sorry, I'm out of my wits today, y'all. I'm out of my wits. For the people listening, don't worry about it. There was a thing on there that just happened. You know, I'm filled with
Technical
faux pas.
difficulties. It happens.
Exactly. I'm filled with faux pas today. But one thing that we did get right technically is this modern marvel here. A moment where we can tell you definitively from the fingers, not of the mouth, because this was a tweet, from the fingers of assistant coach Levi Watkins. I'm going to read you the tweet. April 20th, Joyner. April 22nd, Clark. May 4th, Mahorchich. May 19th, Burns. Now, these dates are written out in number form, so it's 420, 422, 54, 519. But that is a tweet from Levi Watkins basically saying, it's only the 12th, folks. It's only the 12th. You saw what for we got. And I'm in much of the mind of Levi Watkins. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit more so y'all can fully soak it in, take a picture of it, send it to your friends if you're watching on YouTube. But please know that Levi Watkins is definitely right here. You know, I was always taught that I'd rather do something right than do something fast. And if you're in the portal and you're getting the right pieces for your program, that's much better than going out and getting the first guys that you know will commit right away, even if they aren't right for you.
Yeah. So for those of you watching us on YouTube and you just saw that tweet, first of all, we got a shiny new toy in that we figured out how to do slideshow presentations, so we can add a little bit visually to the experience here. So don't let us get hot. We might mess around and get technological savvy here. Anyway,
listen, we're gonna throw some flavor, some Saison, some, you know what I mean? We're gonna throw some white pepper on this thing. We're gonna spruce it up now.
But yes, the point of this tweet here, I love the reading the room from Levi here. The coaches, they see the Wolfpack fans on Twitter. They see us moaning and groaning as, players we were potentially interested in have recently committed elsewhere. We'll get into that in just a second. And as fast as the transfer portal has been moving, everybody kind of freaks out and panics a little bit, like, oh no, are we getting left in the dust? Because these players that we have been linked to us are all of a sudden gone, and now we got to look elsewhere all of a sudden.
Yeah.
This tweet from Levi was a perfect encapsulation of you just need to have patience because they're doing all they can do here. Like you mentioned, by my calendar, today is April the 12th, which is earlier than any of those signings we had last year had occurred. And all four of those guys made humongous impacts on our program. So don't be discouraged when you see Dontrez Styles committing to Georgetown, because you may have wanted him real bad. I sort of did for my own agenda, but nonetheless, don't be discouraged when you see guys committing elsewhere. I saw the other day that 20% of Division I basketball players are in the portal. That is a lot of basketball players. 20%. There's 352 Division I teams. 20% of all of those players are in the portal. Just because 3 guys that we're looking at have currently committed does not mean the pool is out of water. There is so many more potential opportunities to add, humongous impacts to this team. And here we go. Jayden Taylor. Wouldn't you know it? Everybody's getting restless. The next day, bang, Jayden Taylor. Great first get. And I got another guy I'm starting to hear some things, a little bit of buzz in DJ Horn.
Tell us what you're hearing. Tell us what you're hearing. Speak it true. Speak it clear. Come on. Talk to us.
DJ Horn is a guard from Arizona State. And like I mentioned a couple episodes past, it seemed like there's a ton of guys in the portal that are from the area or we were very close to landing out of high school. DJ Horn, wouldn't you know it, right here in Raleigh. He's a Raleigh kid. So this could be a very easy way to have a homecoming for DJ Horn. He has, I believe, 1 year of eligibility left. I might have to double check on that. It's 1 or 2. But this past season, another guy, he can score the basketball. He averaged 12.5, 3.5 boards, 2.5 assists. He's a playmaker. He can be a playmaker. And like we were just talking about with Jayden Taylor, there's so much room for him to blossom as a player that maybe he didn't quite have the opportunity to do somewhere else. And also keep in mind, this is a point guard from a tournament team because Arizona State, they were in the dance. So this is a guy who has talent. He's from the area. It makes perfect sense for him to come home and showcase it here in front of, I'm sure, all his friends and family in the area. So another guy to keep on lookout for. I know you're Kenton, you're waiting for me to announce where L. Ellis ends up because hopefully it's here in Raleigh as well. But your guys in the portal, we got to make it happen.
Hey, listen, I'm waiting to announce where L. Ellis is going. I promise you, y'all have my word. I'm breaking out the ice cream if L. Ellis comes to NC State.
That one might be an ice cream occasion. I
might even hit the gritty while listening to Prince of Utah and saying it's a parade inside my city, if he commits to NC State. This young man is an impact player. He's a playmaker, and I'm telling you this much. I think one of the biggest things that you can do for a guy like L. Ellis is surround him with guards that defend. Guess who just got a couple guards who can defend?
Step one, complete.
But anywho, for the guys who are already here and the guys that we already have, I think this team is coming together quite nicely. You need guys who can, obviously get the ball to DJ Burns, but also you need guys who are going to defend at a higher level for DJ Burns, because we saw a lot of the foul trouble that he got into wasn't his man just putting a move on him that he couldn't stop. He was coming over and trying to help late. And that's a recipe for disaster in terms of foul trouble. When we get guys who are better at staying in front of people, congratulations. When you don't ask your big man to do everything in the world, I'll give you a perfect example. Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks, he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Look up and down that Bucks roster and tell me how many bad defenders they have. I mean, like, outright bad. Drew Holiday is the best pick-and-roll point guard. Not pick-and-roll point guard. He is the best on-ball defender against pick-and-rolls in the league. Giannis, some guy with a weird name who, I don't know. I don't know much about him, but it's Antetokounmpo. He does good things, I hear. That Giannis character, allegedly. No, but seriously, he's a guy who has multiple Defensive Players of the Year himself. Chris Middleton, although he was banged up this year, is a good defender. It makes it easier on your big men is my point here. I'm not saying that DJ Burns is going to turn into Brook Lopez overnight and he's going to be this amazing Defensive Player of the Year candidate. What I am saying is it makes it easier upon your bigs when you surround them with good defenders. So every time an opposing guard decides to drive, it's not like, hey, you better know you're going to have to be over there to help. So there's that. This is, again, there are plenty of players to get in the portal. Horn, from what I hear, again, he's another one of those guys. He can be a good defender. He can do a little bit of something as a combo guard and whatnot. He has some talent. He has some ability to go. At the end of the day, I trust this staff to get good players out of the portal. I trust them to do what they need to do. And yes, the seat cooled off with a tournament appearance, but Coach Keatts knows. Coach Keatts knows when you're losing, everything tastes worse, right? Everything is not as, the jokes aren't as funny, the women aren't as pretty, the drinks aren't as good, the ice ain't as cold, the seat ain't as comfortable. Nothing is as good when you're losing. And that's what gets people fired. That's just the reality. Coach Keatts knows that he's not he doesn't have another 20 loss season in his back pocket to spare. He knows that. So that's my take there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we have seen that's been proven time and time again about Coach Keatts is the man can recruit. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to benefit off of his talent and recruiting with guys like Josh Hall, Jalen LeCue, Rob Dillingham, that we haven't been able to get them here to campus. But the transfer portal opens up so many more doors for Keatts to try and work his way through. We saw it last year. Home runs in Jarkel Joyner. Jack Clark was a great addition. Home run in DJ Burns. So just let the man go to work. Like you mentioned, he knows what the stakes are. He knows that he has to put together another winning performance here on the court to probably keep his contract intact here in Raleigh. He knows all that. He's not going to be able to just throw together, like you said, another ragtag team that just doesn't figure it out. He doesn't have time to do that, unfortunately. So you got to trust that this staff is going to hit the road hard, and they're going to bring in guys that are going to get us some wins. And I think he made a first great step with Jayden Taylor. I think DJ Horn would be another good step. Maybe some L. Ellis down the road. We're still waiting to see what happens there. But again, just listen to Coach Watkins in that you got to have some patience. These things are going to fall into place, but they're not all going to happen in one day or 1 week. It's going to take some time. Like we saw in the tweet just a couple minutes ago, we didn't even have DJ Burns until May 19th. That feels like a year from now. It's a whole month because of the breakneck pace at which the transfer portal moves here. There is so much time to land the next big player here in Raleigh. So you just have to trust in the staff that they're going to try and get it right.
And at the end of the day, that's all we can do, right? Like realistically, what is getting antsy, getting anxious, talking bad about the staff? What does that do? Who wins from that, right? Nobody. So we're going to land this thing in just a sec after a quick word from our sponsors. So, folks, we've got some guys in the portal. We got a guy, our first get out of the portal on the men's basketball side. On the women's basketball side, we've also been connected to an excellent scorer out of DePaul. I cannot remember his name for the life of me right now. I want to say it's Anissa or something along those lines. Anissa Morrow. Yes, Anissa Morrow is a player that we've been connected to. I want to say she was averaging about 20 a game over there for DePaul. So this is a player, 25 and 12. I'm sorry, 25.7 and 12 a game last year. And
that'll play.
Yeah.
We got some minutes for you.
Yeah, I don't think that DePaul was exactly playing ACC competition, but let's have a conversation. Let's get on the phone. I'll take her to the Medios or wherever else we need to go. You know what I mean? If I need to take her in, they'll let us out together. You know what I mean? Hey,
you just can't help yourself.
Give me a call. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm the greatest recruiter in the world, but I am a recruiter by trade. That is literally my job. That's what I get paid to do. And as you can see, the lights are still on. The lights are still on in my apartment. So, I'm just saying. But seriously, let's relax here. The transfer portal will play out as it plays out. And I'm going to say one thing on it, and then Grayson, I'm going to give you the last word here. I look at it like this. A Pop-Tart you can make in the microwave. You can, throw in the little toaster oven for 2-3 minutes and it'll be done. You know what I mean? If you're looking at, the little pre-made breakfast sausages, you can throw those on the skillet for 5 minutes, flip them, they're done. You want to make yourself a little breakfast, throw the eggs on there, throw your little biscuits in there, all that good stuff. You'll be done cooking breakfast in 30, 40 minutes, even if you're cooking for a lot of people. There are certain meals that you don't want done in 20 to 30 minutes. If I go to somebody's house and they tell me that they cooked oxtails that were done in 20 to 30 minutes, I'm leaving. If I go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving and they say, all this food you see before you right now, it was made in 15 minutes, I'm leaving. Because there are some things that take a little longer. I know that we live in a popcorn world, a popcorn society where you throw it in the microwave, give it 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and it should be done. But sometimes it takes a little longer to stir that thing and get the right ingredients, to have it fall off the bone succulent. It takes time sometimes. And that's where I'll leave it. Go ahead, Grace.
Rome was not built in a day. And I don't know if we're going to build Rome here in Raleigh. But again, if we're going to start, it ain't going to happen overnight. So like I mentioned before, you just got to give Keatts and this staff time to go out on the road and get it done. They got one check checked off so far. We still have a couple more items left on the shopping list. And as far as I see it, grocery stores going to be open for quite some time here. It ain't closing time yet. So plenty of time to go out and get it done.
Rome may not have been built in a day, but NC State, at least the women's team and the men's team, at least once a year, plays in a place called Reynolds what?
Coliseum.
So I'm just saying, let's give it a shot. Anywho, thank y'all so very much for coming out, Wolfpack Nation. We appreciate you every single time. Peace and love, y'all. And as always, go Pack.
Go Pack.
You are Locked On NC State, Your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.